You know that moment before class when you're scrambling for a quick activity? You fire up AI, type in something, maybe a worksheet on medieval Europe. And what comes back is, fine, but not quite what you needed. So today I'm going to show you how to fix that forever using the prompt format called RACE, R-A-C-E. This prompt, like others, will hopefully create a clear, consistent, and obviously useful responses getting back from ChatGPT or whatever AI system that you're using. The idea is that hopefully it'll make your prompts clear, consistent, and actually useful for what you're trying to do on whatever AI platform you're choosing to use. Welcome back to the Teachers AI Cafe. I'm Kane. Like you, I'm a busy teacher. Now I use AI to save time and lift my learning or amplify what I'm doing. If you're new here, the show is about practical strategies that you can try in class today. In this short episode, we're going to use the RACE framework, which is role, action, context, execute, to turn fuzzy prompts into sharp, targeted instructions that actually deliver. Now, I've actually covered a few different models previously, and I've released them slowly. But what I'm actually going to do in this series, I'm actually going to go through and record quite a few different models and release them quite quickly over the next week. Hope you find this mini-series quite useful and you can pick the model that actually suits you. So let's get into RACE. RACE is a way to scaffold your prompt so AI knows who to be, what to do, and what to consider and how to deliver it. So it's role, action, context, execute. 4 words, 1 simple word, RACE. It lines up beautifully with what Hattie calls teacher clarity and high quality feedback. Feedback is so important for our students and ourselves. And lets you dial into that cognitive demand to match Bloom's, remembering, analysing, creating, and choosing are things that like the right action verbs we want to use. So what does it work for you as a teacher? So when prompts are vague, we get average results. We have to do more heavy lifting ourselves as we've always done. With RACE, you can reduce that and your cognitive load. When you're modelling great learning design, if you're explicit about your goals and you can define success and you plan for differentiation before the lesson even starts, because you can produce multiple copies very quickly. Whether you teach history, English, psych, languages, or run a careers class like I do at the moment, this is the fastest way I know to make AI behave like a capable assistant rather than a guessing intern. So the enemy of the RACE prompt is, first one is role. The expert you want. Think experienced WA history teacher in my context, or ATAR or AP psychology marker, or ESL speaking coach. Action. The verb at the correct Bloom's levels to generate, analyse, compare, critique, create. What are you actually aiming at for your class and the activity? Context. The students, syllabus, topics, constraints, examples of what to avoid. And finally, execute. The exact output format that you actually want. Is in sections, word counts, tables, reading levels, success criteria. Do you want to export it to an Excel or a Word or a PowerPoint file, for example? So you outline that in your prompt, RACE. So let's look at writing one together. Year 8 medieval history, particularly medieval history is my favourite, so I do like to use that as examples. So do bear with me if you're not a history teacher. But you can transfer these straight into your own context. It will read like role. You're an experienced WA HAS teacher. Action. Design a 60-minute lesson that builds conceptual understanding and retrieval practice. Context. Year 8 medieval history, feudalism is our topic. Mixed literacy, a few English as second language learners. We're allowing to then put your standards in there, which might be Australian Standards 008, 050. Students have a basic knowledge of the feudal pyramid already. Execute. Return a lesson plan with learning intentions, success criteria in a student-friendly language. 10-minute retrieval warm-up. So you need to give the context what they've done previously, which would be, I guess, in this case, would be the basic knowledge of the feudal pyramid. A 20-minute core activity with modelling and guided practice. 15-minute tasks with a scaffolded for lower literacy. 10-minute exit ticket. And a short teacher notes section for differentiation and common misconceptions that students may have that you've then got the resources to answer those questions. That is a prompt you can actually use. And I'll actually put these, as usual, in my cheat sheets that you can get off the Facebook page. And let's try a different sort of prompt. We know feedback is very powerful and it's targeted at the task, the process, And the next step, not just the marks, because we want students to take that feedback and improve. And in reality, I feel marks obviously are important for our system, but I don't think that beneficial to our students directly. It's the other feedback that we give them. Use RACE to get that style of feedback from AI on student writing. So the prompt may be, you are a writing coach for a Year 10 history with experience in WO8R criteria. Give task process next step feedback on this paragraph. No grades, no rewriting. The task, explain 2 causes of the February Revolution of 1917 using evidence. And return 3 short sections, what's working, what's the task, what they need to improve, and so on. Like I said, a full detailed one will be in my notes if you download them. And that, once again, then you'll upload the information or the paragraph the student had actually entered and then get their feedback and pass it back to the students after you've reviewed it. For languages or English as a second language classes, have an I'd produce parallel versions of by level and of a teacher mini script for modelling. So a template you could use, you are an ESL. There, let's try that again. You are an ESL speaking coach for lower intermediate secondary students. Create a role-play activity that builds fluency and confidence. Topic, at the museum, Year 8 students include functional language, pronunciation tips, and a short vocab list with simple definitions. For E, provide 3 tiers of support, standard and extended for your different students. With each, have target phrases and a 5-minute teacher modelling script and a 2-minute reflection question students to answer orally. Keep your classroom ready. So that then will design a task that you can use within that classroom with differentiation built in. So another way you can use it is actually speeding up your marking. So if you're doing a marking conference or moderation, you can use it to create a crisp, consistent summary that you can glance very quickly at when you're in your conference to communicate and what your decision-making and your mark decisions were when you're having that meeting, saving you lots of time. You're an 8R modern history marker. Analyze this source analysis response and identify strengths and teachable gaps. Criteria, use evidence, source evaluation, provenance, linked to questions, students, year 11 WA. So it gives you context. Return a 5-line brief, fast summary, 1 line, 2 strengths, 2 priority fixes, 1 multi-lesson suggestion, and a single sentence of feed forward for the student, a response. You can actually make this stronger, but obviously you've uploaded the student's work, what they're working on. But you can also upload your actual assessment task as well, and your curriculum points or scars or documents in our context to actually get a more accurate response. Okay. You can also use it to resource adaptation without losing the actual rigor that you're actually aiming for. Keep the ideas, change the reading aloud. So keep the ideas, but change the reading load. You're a history curriculum designer. Adapt this text into 3 reading levels without changing the historical accuracy. Year 7 ancient history, target 120, 180, and 240 words. Include a 6-word glossary that's student-friendly, defined definitions. Output as level A, level B, and level C, and accessible questions for each level, and with an exit ticket for all levels. Export this as text. So what you're looking at there is this prompt using in different contexts. So if the output is too generic, your role probably isn't specific enough. Okay, let's start this again. So common pitfalls and quick fixes when you're looking at this particular model. If your output is too generic, your role isn't specific enough, you need to tighten up and really define what the role is. If it's the wrong length or format, look at your execute step that needs sharp constraints and be more explicit. Tell it to do the actions and word counts if that's important to you, or tell it what sort of page length that you're actually looking for. If it misses the point, upgrade your context, mention prior knowledge syllabus codes, and the exact outcome you want. And always choose a Bloom's-aligned action verb to compare, evaluate, synthesize, and create. You can then really drill into the actions, the outcome you actually want them to do. So a 30-second race builder. Say this out loud as you type. Who do I need? What must they do? What actions in my class right now? And what should it land on the page? The role, action, context, execute, toothbrush, one great prompt. That's the race framework. Use it once, and you might decide to keep it. You might never go on to any other prompt styles. If this helped, share it with your colleagues who's AI curious. Next episode, like I said, I'm going to go through a few of the other prompt models so you can choose one that suits you. Thank you for listening to the Teachers AI Cafe, and keep up the good work. Don't forget to visit the Facebook page to get the cheat sheet for this episode, so you can then just copy and paste these style of prompts straight into your AI platform. Till next episode.